Hello and welcome to the Potted RV. My name is Constance, and today we're going to be talking about strawberry plantlets and how to get them rooted and freed from the parent plant. Um, this is the last one of my strawberries that needs to be done, and we have quite a few of these little plantlets. Farmers cut these plantlets off because they do take away from the plant deciding to fruit, but this particular strawberry plant has actually quite a few strawberries in a hanging runner, and the hanging pot is too small for the number of strawberries that are actually in here. So one of the things I'm going to do is go ahead and get these strawberry plantlets rooted out and cut free from the parent plant so I can give them to my grandmother. I don't need them. They're going to be going to my grandmother. And then after these are cut free, I'm going to go ahead and put them in a barrel pot like I do with the other strawberries that might be these ones over here, but it might, I can't see that well to tell, but they're in barrels. I have another video that I'll link to this one. I apologize, that's one of the neighbors that has a motorcycle of some kind. He just started. So I'm going to try to get into that here in just a moment. And I'm going to try to bring you down to where you can see what I'm doing as best I can. It's not easy to do with my setup, but I will try. All right. So for the most part, I use regular organic potting soil, and then I put a layer of coconut coir on the top of it just to give something soft for them to start to root down into. The coconut coir isn't necessary, but I find that it does help a little bit. They do need nice wet soil, and it needs to stay wet. I'll have to re-wet these. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. Now, they do need to root before they're cut from the parent plant, because right now they're dependent on the parent plant for all of their nutrition and water in particular. So this right here, this runner, you don't want to damage that while you're doing this. Now, it still has, just like any other, it has a crown right here. That's very, very important that you don't overbury it. This one is wanting to sit like this, so I'll just lightly put it in, and if I can, this one's going to be too difficult for me to do without damaging the runner, so I will leave it sitting like this and just water it in. Now, some of the other ones where they're longer and the crown is kind of wonky shaped because it's searching for roots, I will put it down and take a little rock and put the rock there on top of the runner just to hold it in place while it roots. And they need to sit like this for about 2 to 3 weeks in order for them to get enough roots to be sustainable without the parent plant. Once they've got a decent amount of root systems, and I'm pretty confident that they'll be sustainable, I'll go ahead and cut them free and just watch them. And a couple of days after I cut them free, I'll go ahead and take this parent plant and pot it up into a larger plant. A larger pot, not plant. This one is starting to flower, whereas it wasn't before. So I definitely want to get this done sooner rather than later. And I'm going to bring you up just a little bit. I come pan over right here and take this one. This little bitty one may or may not have enough strength to, but we're going to still try. So I'm going to bury this excess runner. See if I can't bury it good enough. And I'll probably put a small rock on it just to weigh it down. And I think there's a couple more on the other side that are decent, and I want to get rooted down. Once I have all the runners rooted down, this plant will be well on its way to being in a bigger pot and a happier plant. Well, in fairness, there's at least 6 strawberry plants in here instead of just 1. So we'll see. I have 1 more that I may have to put up on a rock in order for it to reach, because it's only barely, well, actually there's 2 of them there. Yep, I had to put it up on a rock. So we'll see. I'll have to put a rock on that. Rocks are good for that. At least holding it down. Usually if I have to, like with this one, and I'll bring you over to where you can see a little better. Bring the camera up just a little bit more. So typically with ones like this, where I'm putting the rock down on one of the leaf nodes, that leaf will probably die, typically. But it's got enough other leaves that if it roots down, it should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. Strawberries are pretty simple. They're not like other pupping plants. That's what they call them. Plants that throw out runners. I've tried it before. It doesn't really work to snip them off and put them in water and let them root that way. This is the only way I have found that the runners will genuinely produce enough roots to actually be sustainable and on their own once cut from the parent plant. So this plant will sit here for a good probably 3 weeks. I'll probably leave it 3 weeks just to make sure, and then I'll cut them free. All right, so like I said, strawberries are pretty simple. I will go ahead and water these guys pretty regularly. With the rains that have been happening, I don't know if I'll have to do too much in watering them, but it shouldn't take too long. And then once they're all rooted down real nicely, and I'll cut them free. And well, I'm repeating myself. I love doing that. Strawberries are one of my favorite plants. They're very simple, pretty easy to take care of, as long as you don't drown the crowns. They're great. Personally, if I could ever find it, I accidentally found one time that had really pretty, I'll bring the camera in later to let you see, really pretty red flowers. They were unusual because most strawberry flowers are actually white. It was the first time I'd ever seen a strawberry that produced red flowers. And for the flowers alone, I would be willing to grow them again if I could ever find them. But it was an accident that I found them in the first place. So I may never find them again. I do want to, let's see what I've gone and done, because they're going to be mowing soon. And I honestly think I'm probably going to leave all of the plants where they're at. I like the fact that it hides the undercarriage of the RV. I normally like them spread out to where I can actually sit in a garden space and enjoy them. But it's something I'm learning to do differently, living full-time in an RV. It's a very different experience. And in all honesty, one I'm finding I genuinely enjoy. I didn't think I would. But I'm still getting used to the strange climate that southern Oklahoma has. It's very similar to the climate that I grew up in, but a little bit different. It gets a little bit colder here than what I grew up in. I grew up about 3 hours south of where I'm at now. So, no, southwest actually. So the climate is more different than I thought it was going to be. So I'm getting used to it. And I've got a few things I'm going to be planting out. My next video is going to be on some of the stuff I'm planning on planting out right after Mother's Day, and where I got them from, and my impressions on the company I purchased them from. I'd love to have you join me. Sorry, I saw a little bug. I get weirded out by bugs, especially on any of my fruiting plants, but it was nothing. It was just a little ladybug larva, which they can stay. They're loud. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. You're welcome to ask. I apologize. You're welcome to ask me about anything you would like, from plants to, I don't know. I answer everything if I can. I do have a toddler, so I don't always get to him right away, but I try to. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.